Good morning, Zambia. Muzuele Chwani, Mwabuka Shani, Mulibwanji. Today we have a very important topic to talk about because we are going to be talking about investor confidence and the Zambian dollar bonds, which sort of reacted to President Hakainde Hichilema's BBC interview. And of course, during the course of the past few days, we have seen a lot of criticism coming from Tembo and Kaingu. So in today's live stream, we are going to be obviously talking about these issues which are affecting Zambians because this is our mandate as ZKona, because we are the leading platform, or rather the leading voice for the Zambian youth. So before I jump into today's topics, I just want to remind you, or rather let you know, that today is my birthday. So after I give you my presentation, I'm going to go and enjoy my birthday. So tell me where you are watching me from right now. Let me know your location, your city, and should I really address Kaingu? Should I talk to Kaingu at this particular moment? Because she's a woman, and women need to be handled with care. Of course, I'm going to talk about Tembo because he's a man. He knows what he's doing, and obviously, this is a Game of Thrones. This is all about the House of Cards. So when people talk about things that they do not really understand, we need to rectify the situation and just prevent misinformation from happening. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to share this video right now. Share it to 10 groups, because I know you belong to a lot of Zambian media groups. So before we jump into today's episode, because we need a lot of people to join us, because we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting, exciting stuff. So share it right now. Without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. So the most important thing that you need to do is you need to be able to get information from the right source. And one of the few people that I can obviously get to recommend is obviously getting to follow Dr. Chivamba Kanyama. Chivamba Kanyama is really breaking the whole economic process, IMF, bonds and all that stuff. He's really explaining it from a perspective that is very digestible to a lot of Zambians. So we obviously need to get information from the right source. So always try to get information from the right source. Do not be misled by a lot of people. With that said, first of all, before I talk about Iris and Tembo, I need to obviously, ask for permission whether I should address Iris, because, I'm obviously going to keep it very, very professional. I'm not going to, hit below the belt because, there's issues that we're not going to talk about. And to be honest, Iris is past that particular stage and she really deserves a lot of respect. So basically, when it comes to Iris, I'm just going to be talking about, relevant issues according to the discussion with regards to the economy and everything related to Zambia. We're not really going to talk about personal things, because personal things are things that is just very petty, and she deserves way much more respect. With regards to Tembo, oh man, we have a lot of exciting information for him. So okay, let's jump into the first topic, which is the investor confidence in Zambia. So, did President Hakainde Hichilema affect investor confidence? The simple answer to that particular question is obviously no. He obviously increased the investor confidence because he is promoting transparency. You see, the thing that was killing Zambia and the Zambian government was the lack of transparency. And President Hichilema is rectifying this situation because, as an economist, as a business person, he understands the importance, or rather the importance of being transparent and making sure that your books are properly audited and you are giving relevant information to people who are going to be investing in your country. And obviously, we already know what a bond is. So in case you guys don't really get the chance to visit the Bank of Zambia, right, you have to take a look at these things because there's readily available information. You can check out all the data with regards to the bond interest, the bond tender documents. So there's obviously information is easily accessible. Okay, so government bonds basically sort of help the government to raise some money, and they allow it's basically a debt instrument issued by the government of Zambia through the Bank of Zambia. By issuing this instrument, the government is borrowing money from the purchasers of this instrument, generally with a promise to pay periodic interest payments, and to repay a face value on maturity debt. So basically, it's just a way of getting to raise money. So a lot of you might be wondering, hey Mona, why did the bonds sort of decline and drop? And this is the point that Sean Tembo is obviously getting to manipulate. So Sean Tembo is a very smart and intelligent person, and of course Zambia is a democratic country. Zambia is obviously a democratic country, and everybody deserves to put their information out there. Okay, so nobody is trying to silence anybody. Aris Kaingu has got every right to criticize and offer checks and balances. Sean Tembo and any other opposition as well, everybody is obviously expected to give their opinion, but the spread of misinformation is very deadly. So as you do your checks and balances, right, always make sure you've got factual data backing all your notions and your points, because if you're not going to do that, right, then you're obviously misleading the public. And obviously these two people have got a very large following, so this is one of the reasons why we should always make sure that misinformation is prohibited and it is prevented. So Zambia is a democratic country. Anybody is allowed to be criticized, or rather to criticize, offer checks and balances, but do it in a very well researched manner. With that said, the reason why the bonds started dropping, the reason why we obviously experienced a 0.8% bond price decrease is due to the fact that now that President Hakainde Hichilema said that we are obviously owing much more money, right? Obviously, the investors kind of reacted to that particular statement, because the amount of public debt that Zambia has at this particular moment is way much more than what the PF government was talking about, because obviously they were hiding some information. So what President Hakainde Hichilema was hinting is with regards to the public debt, right? We obviously need to do a serious audit. And this is one of the reasons why the people who were occupying these particular offices are not really going to be they're not really going to go until a serious audit is done, because we actually need to find out exactly to what extent we owe debt. And this is one of the reasons why we experience a sell-off, because it doesn't really make any sense for bondholders to keep on holding onto a bond when they do not really know exactly how much money Zambia is owing. So this is one of the reasons why we obviously experienced this little bit of a pullback, and it's a very minimal price drop. It's not really as deep as Sean Tembo is making it to seem. It's a very, very minute pullback. So this is obviously very common. As soon as the facts are established, there's obviously going to be an increase in terms of the purchases of bonds, and they're going to continue sort of skyrocketing in prices, because people have got confidence in the leadership of President Hichilema. So this particular market reaction at this particular moment is absolutely it's expected to happen. It's expected to happen so long Zambia remains not really transparent. We're obviously going to have these issues. So this is one of the reasons why transparency is key. And with regards to IMF and all these other notions that Sean Tembo is obviously bringing about, he's not really speaking from a point of experience. He's obviously speculating because he doesn't really understand, and he's really doing a great job. If you talk about Iris Kaingu and Sean Tembo, I'm very, very proud of them, because they are offering actual checks and balances. And these factual points that Sean Tembo is obviously bringing about, these points, I can't really call them factual. The points that he's raising, they are very, very important, and you can get to learn a lot of things. So as far as Sean Tembo is concerned, he's got some good information, but of course he's twisting the facts. He's got he's twisting the story and creating a different narrative, as opposed to just saying things as they are. So Sean Tembo is doing a very great job as far as providing proper checks and balances, but of course he's just twisting the truth, which could be very, very deadly. As far as Iris is concerned, Iris is we already understand that Iris is a socialite. She doesn't really have well-rounded thoughts when it comes to these issues, and we obviously experienced her negligence with regards to governmental issues. I remember when she was asked about Bill 10, she basically couldn't even explain what Bill 10 was. So obviously Iris is just politicking for the sake of politicking, and this is one of the reasons why, if you look at her post, right, she doesn't even have original thoughts, because she can't really talk about the IMF, the bond type of situation diligently. And this is one of the reasons why she's obviously just copying and pasting and just echoing what Sean Tembo is talking about. So Iris Kaingu, we understand you're looking for attention, and you're actually doing a very great job. If you look at the PF youths, right, it's very ironic that Iris Kaingu is very vocal, and the regular PF youths, like, I don't really see any of them being active. So I'm very surprised that Iris Kaingu is actually playing a very great role with regards to, just holding the party, the Patriotic Front Party, with regards to the youth. She's really doing a great, recommendable job, but of course, she's doing it from a slay queen type of perspective. She's just looking for clout. She doesn't really have a lot of substance, if you know what I mean. So yeah, congratulations to you, Iris Kaingu, for expressing yourself. We're really proud of you as a woman, and but just make sure you understand what you're talking about. And in case you feel like I'm being rude to you, you can always feel free to come to our platform. We can talk about these things. We can talk about the bonds and what's happening as far as governance is concerned. So yeah, keep up with what you're doing, but just make sure that you have enough and sufficient facts as far as everything is concerned. So when we talk about transparency and why Zambia needs to be transparent with regards to our finances, right? This is obviously going to attract more and more investors, and this is one of the reasons why President Hichilema was able to tweet and assure the investment community that everything is going to be okay. It's just that we are trying to sort of undo what the Patriotic Front did as far as not being transparent enough. And you have to wonder, why was the Patriotic Front government not really transparent with regards to the type, or rather the amount of debt that we have? And this is one of the reasons why President Hichilema was able to sort of say that we inherited an empty treasury. And due to the fact that he did this, right, obviously the bond markets sort of reacted, and that is needed. So basically, when it comes to investments, right, there's obviously weak hands and strong hands. Basically, weak hands are the people who are spectators. They are breakout traders, if I can put it that way. They just basically buy what is beginning to trend and what is becoming very popular. So when you are looking for serious investors, right, you don't really need to have weak hands. You don't need spectators. You need to have actual thorough investors who understand the nitty-gritty details. So once this particular sell-off is done, right, as far as the Zambian dollar bonds are concerned, right, there's going to be other investors who are going to be jumping on the Zambian dollar bonds or the euro bonds and all that stuff, because they really understand the transitioning period of Zambia and where we need to go. So having a sell-off is obviously expected, and then if you look at what was happening in the past 2 months, obviously especially after elections, we saw like a dramatic increase in prices of in people purchasing our bonds. So obviously there's going to be a little bit of a sell-off. A sell-off is actually very, very good, because the markets sort of need to breathe. You need people selling, and you also need people buying. So when you have a sell-off, it doesn't really mean that, oh, everything is going bad and everything is going to be destroyed. So having a little bit of a sell-off in terms of the markets is absolutely necessary, and it is also going to allow us to have confident investors, aka the strong hands, because these are the people that really understand the transitioning process of a new government. Because especially in Africa, when it comes to investing in assets, right, and especially investing in a country after a political transition, right, this is a very uncertain period of time. So we obviously need to have investors who really understand that, okay, the UPND government, or rather the UPND alliance, is going to need a little bit of time so that they can rectify the situation. And this is one of the reasons why President Hakainde Hichilema had to appoint the finance minister. The first thing that he did is appoint the finance minister, because this is a very important step and process for Zambia to have economic recovery. Okay, we need to be transparent. We need to audit our books properly, make sure we don't really have any blurry clauses, and just disclose everything. Because if we do that, right, obviously it's going to be very easy to have access to institutions that are going to be able to allow us to breathe and just get to grow our economy. So transparency is very important. So one of the points that Sean Tembo talked about was about Hakainde Hichilema being like a CEO and not really disclosing and putting your laundry out there, ironing your dirty laundry out there. This is a necessary process. Okay, if you know anything about raising funds, attracting investors, you need to be very transparent with them. Let's say, for example, you want to marry a girl, right? And then instead of the girl being upfront and the family being upfront saying, "Oh, you want to show you, you're not going to be able to negotiate proper lawol, if you know what I mean." So the family needs to be very, very transparent and say, this woman has been married 10 times, 15 times, she's got multiple kids and other stuff. So this is how much you're going to be able to pay. So it's the same with, attracting investors as well. You need to be very transparent, and you need to make sure that your books are properly handled and everything is properly done. So this is one of the reasons why we saw President Hakainde Hichilema immediately talk to the investment communities. So basically, according to my own analysis, right, him doing this interview via BBC was a very strategic economic move. So when we see such things happen, right, obviously he understands what he's doing and he understands what needs to be done. So having a sell-off in terms of the bonds is actually a necessary process. And if you guys really want to find out more information about the IMF and what Sean Tembo is talking about as far as the social cash transfer, the farmer input supply program and all that stuff, please follow Dr. Chivamba Kanyama. Dr. Chivamba Kanyama is the right source to listen to as far as these relevant information is concerned. So don't listen to slay queens. Don't listen to people who don't really have sufficient information. So that's that. So in all objectivity, I'm really proud of Sean Tembo and Aris Kaingu. They are really doing a great job. So Zambia is a democratic country, and everybody needs to voice out their opinions, but let's make sure we prevent the spread of misinformation. Of course, I wasn't going to get petty with Aris Kaingu because you guys were expecting me to, really hammer Aris Kaingu. No, she really deserves, respect as well, because she's already, paid her dues, and she's already past that stage. So let's just keep it classy. Don't go below the belt, and let's objectively listen to one another. So that's all I had for you. I'm going to enjoy my birthday. I really hope you enjoyed a thing or two with regards to the bonds and why we're having a sell-off, and probably the kwacha is also going to have a little bit of a a depreciation phase, because everything is kind of intertwined. The bonds, the exchange rate, everything is kind of in the same ecosystem, if I can put it that way. So obviously having a little bit of a retracement, or rather a pullback, and seeing the price of the kwacha start to sort of fluctuate like that and just be bound in a range, this is absolutely necessary, and it's not really something which is going to lead us and take us back to $23 per kwacha. So this is a very, very volatile market, and everything is going to become clearer and better as long as President Hichilema and the UPND alliance continue doing what is necessary for Zambia in terms of attracting the right investors. So anywho, that's all I had for you today. I really hope you enjoyed it. So talk to you in a little bit, probably tomorrow. We'll see what's going to happen. It depends on the rate of the news. So yeah, that's all I had. In case you've got any contributions, suggestions, what do you think about the whole process, the whole scenario that we had with regards to the markets and investors reacting to President Hichilema's BBC interview? Do you think this was a necessary process for President Hichilema to undergo, and just basically be transparent and be as transparent as possible with regards to what he inherited? Because you have to remember that President Hichilema is just coming in and he's taking over. So basically everything that the PF were doing it wasn't really working. So President Hichilema's moves and strategy are going to be different. They have to be different from whatever PF was doing. So one of the steps that he did was encourage transparency, and he's got a zero tolerance to corruption. This is obviously going to eventually attract strong hands as far as boosting investor confidence and just attracting the relevant and the much needed investors that we need to propel the economy of Zambia further. So I really hope you also get to go through the Bank of Zambia website. Take a look at the bonds, take a look at the interest rate, take a look at the face value, the maturity dates, and all the relevant information that you need, because we need to get educated. The Zambian youths deserve to have right access to the right type of information. So everything is in front of your eyes. All you have to do is just look at the relevant information. So visit the Bank of Zambia website. Follow Dr. Chibamba Kanyama on Facebook, because he's got a lot of educative material. So yeah, that's all I had for you. I'm going to enjoy my birthday. Have a great day, and please let me know your location. Where are you watching me from right now, and what is your plan for the day? Are you going to continue hustling and just doing what you have to do to put food on the table? If you're going to do that, I really pray that God blesses your hustle, and eventually you're going to have an amazing breakthrough. So remember, never give up. Just like President Hichilema, he never gave up regardless of being defeated many times. So once you fail, you have an opportunity to learn. It's actually better to fail many times and be better and be good at something than just get it on the first attempt, because if you get it on the first attempt, you're basically not really going to be wise enough. So this is one of the reasons why we obviously saw President Lungu squander a very good opportunity, because it was just given to him. He just basically inherited the position, basically, but President Hichilema has been trying. He knows what to do, what not to do, and he's obviously become much wiser. So embrace failure, because when you fail, you become wiser, you learn, and you overall will be much prepared for a particular position or the future, because you have been able to learn through the process. So failure is part of the process. Anywho, that's all I had today. I'm almost choking, by the way. Yeah, so talk to you a little bit later. Have a great one. Goodbye.